Okay, so here's the audience.
Hi there. Whitney Houston sang in her hit song, The Greatest Love of All, "I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way." I believe that's true. Children are our future, and we owe it to them to invest in quality pre-K education to make sure that they have the building blocks they need for a successful education. In President Obama's State of the Union address this year, he said, "Study after study shows that the earlier a child begins learning, the better he or she does down the road. But here's the thing, we're not doing enough to give all of our kids that chance." That's true. Quality pre-K instruction, that's the foundation that our kids need to make sure that they're prepared for kindergarten, and being prepared for kindergarten ensures they're prepared for the rest of their education. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about the Montessori method of preschool education, which is just one of the many options that is available for you when you're deciding on a preschool for your children. I want to make sure that if you're picking a school or a program for your child, or if you're asked to recommend one to a friend, you have the most information out there to make an informed decision so that you can make the right decision. Everyone knows what preschool is, but most people equate preschool with daycare, and that could not be further from the truth. Daycare is where you would drop your child off if you're going to a movie, or if maybe you're going to spend some time doing something, and you're just going to kind of look for a place to put your kid for a little while. If you're looking for education, then you're going to want to look for a preschool option. There are a lot of options available. Dr. Marie Montessori developed the Montessori method. She was an Italian-born educator way ahead of her time. She was encouraged to pursue a career in education because that's what women did then. And she found through her working with children that every child could be taught. It was finding the right method of teaching for each child to make sure that they learned the most possible. She believed that giving children an environment designed to support their development would allow them to teach themselves. That's from the Montessori.org website. The Montessori method is based on 5 key principles, and the first principle is respect for the child. We don't respect our children, is what she believed, and therefore they're not able to learn as much as they could. And I think that's probably true. When you respect your children, or respect children that you're teaching, you give them choices, and that's one of the fundamental beliefs with the Montessori method. You also give them an environment that's set up for them to do things for themselves. You never do for a child something they can do for themselves. And she believed in building self-esteem, not in the way that we might do it today, which is, awards participation and great job attaboys for everything, but absolutely just giving, praise for jobs well done when something was done correctly. The second principle was the absorbent mind. Children can't help but learn, and they absorb everything in their environment. That is another core belief. An absorbent mind, basically just that children have a psychic life and they're picking up everything around them. Children educate themselves. The third principle was the sensitive periods. That's the belief that you're susceptible to learning certain skills at certain times. And if we can key into those times and those skills, then a child has a better chance of picking them up quickly and with a smoother learning process, and they definitely get more out of that instruction. The fourth principle was a prepared environment. You set up an environment where a child can learn for themselves. That's child-centered education and active learning and independent active learning. And the fifth principle is autoeducation, a term coined by Dr. Montessori, which indicates that children who are actively involved in a prepared environment and who exercise freedom of choice literally educate themselves, from education.com. A teacher's role in a Montessori classroom is to prepare the environment in the best possible way to ensure that a child is able to educate themselves. So those are the 5 principles of the Montessori method. One of the other core beliefs they have is the older children teach the younger children. So the classrooms are set up with children age 3, 4, and 5, and they learn from each other. There's not really any proof on who benefits more, the younger child learning from the older child, or the older child who learns more every time they teach a skill to the younger children. My husband and I went and toured a Montessori school last week. I wanted to tour the school from a parent's perspective, not from someone doing a speech or research on Montessori. So we went in as if we had a child, and the director of the school showed us around. It was a really cool environment. She took a lot of time with us, and I would say, because I do work at a preschool, it was very different. It's not set up kind of in a chaotic, hectic, busy way. It's very orderly and very structured, and it has kind of a doctor office feel, but not in a bad way, just real kind of almost sterile. And I know that sounds bad, but it's not. It's a nice environment. We went through all the different classrooms. They have a belief that um, children learn. They're never given an abstract idea without concrete materials to back it up. So one of the things they do if they're learning counting is they're given something like coins. If they're counting to 10, they're given 10 coins, and they're learning how to manipulate, play, count the coins before they're ever actually taught the concept of counting or numbers. They also have life skills areas set up in the classrooms where they're learning things like sewing, sweeping, mopping, dishes. They have pitchers. They use glass. I only add plastic, but they have glass pitchers with water, and they're learning to pour for themselves and for their classmates. The teachers are given budgets at that particular school for breakage. So if a child does break something, they're taught to clean up after themselves. And I think that it's set up with the idea behind it that they are going to break things, and so they do, in life, so they'll learn how to clean them up. Joyce Tash was an educator, a Princeton Montessori school teacher, and she wondered about the impressions that she was making on the absorbent minds in her school. She did it for 26 years. She did a survey, and a lot of positive responses came back that indicated the concrete materials did make a difference in the learning process, and that one child even said the ability to act decisively and make concrete decisions without input from superiors or anyone was a life skill that served them well every day. To sum it all up, the Department of Education said that over the long term, high quality preschool reduces teen pregnancy rate, lowers crime, and improves employment outcomes. The only surprising thing to me is that we haven't done more to make sure our children are ready for school with a quality preschool. I hope this helps you make a decision, if you ever need to, on what the best option is for you and your family when you're choosing quality preschool instruction. Thank you.